Juliet had always been convinced she was the most beautiful girl in her entire village. She carried herself as though the earth beneath her feet existed only for her. When she walked, it was with the confidence of someone who believed everyone was watching. When she spoke, her words were sharp and dismissive, as if no one else truly mattered. Juliet believed her looks alone could open doors, silence elders, and excuse bad behavior. She thought beauty was power, and power meant freedom to act however she pleased. But on a scorching afternoon, something unexpected shattered that belief. Something small, something humiliating, something she never imagined would turn her world upside down. A fart. It began when an elderly woman stood by the roadside, weak and tired, clutching her stomach as hunger bent her posture. She raised her voice gently and asked Juliet for a little help. Instead of responding with empathy, Juliet reacted with irritation. She rolled her eyes, sucked her teeth loudly, insulted the woman, and then deliberately released a long, mocking fart right in front of her. She even smiled afterward, proud of herself, as if she had performed a clever trick. Juliet had no idea that from that moment, her life would no longer belong to her. That one act of disrespect would trail her everywhere. That sound would chase her through shame, fear, and lessons she never asked for. Because the woman she insulted was not ordinary, and Juliet's pride was about to collide with something far stronger than beauty. Juliet continued down the dusty road like royalty returning from a celebration. Her hips swayed confidently, her handbag bounced against her arm. Her face glowed with arrogance as she imagined villagers admiring her under the hot sun. She believed the world paused to notice her presence. That was when she noticed the old woman standing quietly by the roadside. Her clothes were worn. Her hands trembled as she rested them on her stomach. She lifted one hand weakly. "My daughter, please help me with something to eat." Juliet stopped and scanned her with contempt. There was no sympathy in her eyes, only annoyance. She stepped closer and scoffed. "Old woman, leave my front. Do I look like your ATM?" The woman remained calm. Her voice was steady. "If you do not have, just say so. There is no need to insult." Instead of walking away, Juliet moved closer, raised her chin, and deliberately forced out a loud fart that echoed along the quiet road. She widened her eyes proudly, as if she had accomplished something impressive.
"Take that," she said smugly. "Since you like asking, take this as your share." The old woman sighed deeply. She shook her head slowly. "My daughter, it is not good to behave this way. Respect elders." Juliet waved her hand dismissively. "Mind your business. If you don't like it, move." She turned and walked away confidently, shoulders raised, convinced the moment was over. But before she took 10 steps, a sharp pain twisted her stomach. She froze and grabbed her waist. "It's nothing," she whispered to herself. She took another step. A loud fart exploded from her body like a festival drum. Juliet stopped breathing. "No, no way," she muttered. She hurried forward. Another fart escaped. She clenched her stomach. Another followed. Every step brought another sound. She spun around and saw the old woman still standing in the same spot, calm and unmoving. Juliet stormed back, pointing angrily. "You! What did you do to me? Stop this now!" The old woman looked at her with tired, knowing eyes. "You insulted me. You used your body to shame me. Now your body will teach you what your heart refused to learn." Juliet shook her head violently. "No, I am a chief's daughter. Make it stop." Her stomach twisted again, releasing another humiliating sound. Tears welled up in her eyes. Her beauty felt useless. Her pride crumbled. The old woman spoke gently. "Until you learn respect, your body will remind you. Pride invited this lesson. Humility will end it."
Juliet fell to her knees. "Please, I will change. Help me." The woman nodded slowly. "You will suffer a little first." And before Juliet could speak again, the woman faded like smoke and vanished completely. Juliet screamed. Another fart escaped. She ran home in tears. When she reached her compound, her father jumped up in alarm. "My daughter, what happened? Who touched you?" Juliet collapsed before him and explained everything. Her father laughed. "It is nonsense. Old women talk plenty." But as Juliet opened her mouth to reply, her stomach betrayed her again. The laughter died. The shame had only just begun. The following morning, Juliet woke up early and convinced herself that everything that happened the previous day was nothing more than a strange nightmare. She dressed carefully in her finest clothes, adjusted her hair, and stepped outside with her familiar confidence. She lifted her shoulders and walked like someone who believed the world still belonged to her. As she walked down the road, two young men from the village approached her. They were ordinary boys, respectful and well-mannered. When they saw Juliet, they smiled politely. "Good morning, Juliet," one of them greeted. "Yes, good morning," the other added. Juliet stopped abruptly and turned on them with anger flashing in her eyes. "How dare you greet me?" she snapped. "Who sent you to talk to me? Do you know who I am?" The boys exchanged confused looks. "It's just a greeting," one said calmly. "We meant no harm." But Juliet's pride refused to bend. "Shut up," she barked. "Next time you see me, don't greet me. Don't look at me. Don't breathe near me." The boys stood stunned. "Why are you angry?" one asked softly. Before Juliet could answer, her stomach tightened suddenly, twisting like a rope being pulled hard. She froze, clenching her body. Then it happened. A loud, violent fart exploded into the open air. The sound echoed between the houses. Birds scattered from nearby trees. Even the road seemed to pause. For a second, no one spoke. Then the two boys burst into uncontrollable laughter. They bent over, slapped their thighs, and struggled to breathe. "Juliet," one shouted between laughs, "is that your greeting?" "So rich people greet with thunder now?" the other added. Juliet's face burned like fire. She wanted the ground to open and swallow her whole. Without saying another word, she turned and ran, tears streaming down her face as her slippers slapped against the road. She rushed straight to her mother's hut and collapsed onto the bed, sobbing like a child. Her mother sat up in shock. "Juliet, what is wrong again?" Through tears, Juliet explained everything. The old woman, the warning, the disappearance, the shame, the laughter. When she finished, her mother was silent for a long moment. Then she shook her head slowly. "I warned you," she said. "You insult people too much. Your mouth is sharp and your heart is hard." Juliet cried harder. "Mama, please help me." Her mother stood up and adjusted her wrapper. "I cannot help you. Go and meet your father. He is the one who encouraged this behavior." Juliet's stomach rumbled softly, reminding her of her curse. She wiped her face and slowly walked toward the main compound. Her father was sitting under a mango tree with his friend, Chief Adamu. When he saw Juliet, he smiled proudly. "Come, my daughter." Chief Adamu looked at Juliet closely. "You look troubled," he observed. Juliet tried to speak, but her stomach tightened again. She held her breath, hoping nothing would happen. Before she could finish her sentence, a powerful fart burst out. Both men froze. Chief Adamu whispered, "My goodness." Juliet covered her face. "Papa, it's not me. Something is following me." Another sound escaped. Chief Adamu stepped back, fighting laughter. "This is not ordinary. This is spiritual correction." Juliet fled inside, crying. That night, Juliet's parents argued bitterly. Her mother blamed her father for spoiling her. Her father defended Juliet until he could no longer deny the truth. The next morning, desperate, Juliet's father visited a native healer. The man listened quietly and finally said, "She offended a spirit of respect.
Until humility enters her heart, shame will not leave her body. He gave them a charm, but it failed. Juliet insulted another girl. The fat returned louder. Village gossip spread like wildfire. People laughed, people mocked. Juliet became the village joke. Then Mark arrived. Mark was from the city, tall, kind, and calm. When he announced his intention to marry Juliet, his mother nearly fainted. "That girl?" she shouted. "She insults people and disgraces herself." But Mark believed in change. Despite the embarrassment, he took Juliet to the city, hoping doctors could help her. The tests showed nothing. The shame followed her everywhere. Restaurants, parties, streets. Mark grew tired. Juliet broke down. One night, alone and broken, Juliet whispered, "I must change." The next day, she apologized to the security man. She gave food. She spoke gently. Nothing happened. No sound. She continued. She helped strangers. She spoke kindly. She lowered her pride. That night, the old woman appeared in her dream. "You have learned," the woman said softly. "Your punishment ends here." When Juliet woke up, peace filled her heart. No pain, no sound. Juliet became a new person. Mark proposed. She accepted. They married. Juliet walked with humility, not arrogance. She spoke with kindness, not insults. And her life blossomed because she finally learned what beauty alone could never teach her.